Hello everyone, it's Forte. Still here, still alive. We'll be back soon. Just been sick for a while, but I want to go over what we're going to be doing on Google Sheets and how what our next steps are. So, miss you guys. I'll be back soon. Hopefully this is helpful. The first thing I want to go over is just how do we make pretty graphs with our data. So I'm going to be using our anxiety and exam scores, the problems that we've been working on. So we'll make a nice looking graph. Again, we're in Google Sheets, so I just typed this in myself. I typed in the data, and now let's go take a graph of this. So this is pretty easy. You can just highlight your data, go to Insert, and then go to Chart. When you do that, already you can see there's a scatter plot right here. So there's a nice, beautiful scatter plot. But what I want you to look at is, you know, some of the things that we've been wanting was the least squares regression line, and we want, the R squared or the R value. So we'll see that Google does that for us. So if we go to customize over here, and if you don't have the right chart, you could change your chart, but we're going to want a scatter chart. Go to customize, and then down here, I think it's in series. Yes, it's in series. You can scroll down, so I clicked on series, and I'll scroll down, and I'm going to add a trend line. So a trend line is what we've been trying to calculate, and there you go. It places a trend line into your data there, so you can see it right there. And you can change the color to make it look cooler. You can make your graphs look better if you like. But what I also will want a label. So what we're going to want is use equation. So then this will calculate the equation for us. And there's my equation. They write it like in y equals mx plus b form. And also, the other thing that we'd want is our r squared. So we can click on r squared, and it will give me both of them. Now, recall that if we wanted to find r, we'd have to take the square root of both those values. But all of a sudden, real quick and simple, we threw our data into Google Sheets. We made a chart. We have our regression equation, and we have the r squared value, the coefficient of determination. All right, so you're already given a lot right here. All right, so again, try that. This is for if you want to make nice, pretty graphs. You can change this around. You can, you know, you can change all the colors and all the cool stuff. But this is to make a nice, pretty graph, and it gives you actually a lot of information already. So we're already given our least squares regression line and really the strength of this regression test. All right. All right. So hope you have your big boy pants and big girl pants on right now, because if you're just making the regression and making graphs, that's what our freshmen are expected to do. So doing this, I expect the freshmen to be able to do this, but for you guys, I expect a lot more. All right. So this is freshman level, but now what should we be doing? Let's take a look. You are gonna need some tools, and I'm gonna scroll down. When I click on extensions, I have, this is the tool that we're gonna use, this XLMiner analysis tool pack. So that's the one we're gonna use. If you do not have that on your Google uh, extensions, then you need to add it on. So then go to get add-ons, and you'll just type in that term right there. So XLMiner analysis tool. So get add-ons, and you should be able to just search it up. XLMiner. There you go. So you should be able to get that one and install that one. All right. Hopefully, I think you already have it. I think last year they already had it into their tools, their toolkit. But if not, then you can load it up real quick. All right. So, anyways, the name. I'll type the name one more time. So it's going to be XLMiner analysis toolkit. Okay. So that's what we're going to need. So load that up, and then we'll get started. So that's the tool we're going to do right there. So load that one up. Let's do that right now. So I'll go to extensions. Mine's already loaded. XLMiner Analysis Toolkit. I'll hit start. And over here on the right hand side, a bunch of stuff will pop up. We are going to need the linear regression. So let's click on the linear regression. That's the one we've been studying. Now it's very important, you're going to input y range and the x range. So in this problem, my x's are the explanatory variable, so I need to input in from this little group right here. So you can highlight it if you like to, or just remember it's from A2 all the way to A12. So I'm just going to type that in. Oh, and actually, if I highlight it and then click here, it just puts it in there. So that makes your life a lot easier. I didn't know I did that. So let's try the next one. So I need the y values. I'm going to use these ones as my y values. And then I'll put them in there. There they go. They're done. All right. I don't need this. I don't need the confidence level. We'll talk about that later on. That's at the end of the year. So the very end of the year. But I would like to see the residuals. I would like to see the residual plots. Standardized residuals? No, we don't need that one. We will need line flip plots, and no, we'll probably. Let me just click on this one. No, I don't think I need that one. All right, let me just press enter right now. Hopefully this works. Oh, and I need to say where we're going to put this. So we're going to place the answer right here. I don't care where you place it, but I'm going to put it right here. And F1 is where the answer will pop up. So let's put an output range, and I want that to be F1. It's messing up already. So F1. Let's see if that works. So that's what we're going to output. So remember, we have our input and our output, and there we go. And then we're going to place the answer right there, hit OK, and la la la. That didn't work. Let's try this again. Oh, there's labels. Because I've kept A2 and B2, I actually have labels. I need to click on labels. So you kind of just have to play around with things a little bit. All right, so let's try this again. One more time. And voila, there it is, beautiful. All right, now let's take a look. What are we given? I don't know about you, but when I see all of these, I'm like, man, I feel smart now. All right, so just looking at this, like, look at this beautiful residual plot. So this right here is the residual plot. So if you clicked on residual plot, you'll get a residual plot. So much easier than your calculator, so we don't have to use that anymore. And let's talk about this residual plot real quick. It looks pretty good. I mean, there's no clear patterns. It's kind of spread out evenly. That's a pretty good residual plot. What else do you need to know? You need to know where your r squared is, and here's where it spits it out for you. So there's where r squared is. I'm just going to highlight that, and you should be able to interpret that value also. Remember what r squared is talking about? It's talking about basically how accurate is this model predicting. And it's about 65, 66%. So that'll be one thing you're going to need. You will also need the standard error. So on average, how far is each one of our data points from the residual line, from the line of best fit? About 6.84 units, whatever our units are in. So let me highlight that. That's going to be very important for you. We don't need this until the end of the year. The end of the year, you will be able to read this and understand what all this is here. But for right now, there's our r squared value. You notice they don't give you r, so you would have to calculate r on your own if you needed the correlation coefficient. So what we have to do is take the square root of this value, and we would get r. The cool thing about this also is we always ask you, usually on the AP exam, they'll ask you to calculate the residual, but if we just wanted this calculates all your residuals. So it's the residual for each one of your data points, so you can see it here. So we don't really need this, but it's really nice that they calculate this one. What does this little blue one show us? So the blue dots are our line of best fit, and then the red is the residuals, or the actual values copied in. So again, I wouldn't use this graph if I wanted to display it on like a presentation or on your slides. I wouldn't use this graph. I would use the pretty graph, the one you made earlier. But this is kind of a nice little picture to see, like, oh, this is what we're trying to see. So the blue dots represent the line of best fit, and the red are the actual data points. So you can see a little higher, a little higher, a little lower, and so forth. What's the last thing that you will need? You will need these two values right here. So this is our coefficients. This is what we're going to need for your to find the regression equation. So if you notice, our slope is the second one, and then our y-intercept was the first one. And so it's very nice. They give you the y-intercept. They say, hey, this is the y-intercept, but the next part is our slope. And after that, you should be able to answer any of our questions that we ask you about interpreting the slope, our R-squared, our standard error, and this will be the regression statistics that we'll want to see, like when you do your projects. I want to see this right here. We don't really need this ANOVA yet. That's not going to be important for us, but we will need the regression statistics and these values right here. All right. So I hope that makes sense. Really, you're just going to have to plug in here, get some answers, and I think we're good.